Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between Capcom and Konami and their relationships to some of their controversies. I had a friend ask me once, why is everybody so pissed off at Konami when Capcom has done similar bullshit? I remember 5 years ago when I was really excited about Mega Man Legends 3 and Mega Man Universe coming out. I was really excited about these games, a Mega Man game where I could create my own stages, and then having Mega Man Legends 3 kind of finishing this epic plot cliff that happened over 10 years ago. And then both of them got canceled, so Capcom could do Super Marvel Ultimate Capcom vs. 3 or something like that. A game that I had just gotten the wrapper off of the original version. So I was pissed. Then Inafune quit and all this other stuff happened to Capcom. So why aren't people quite that pissed off at Capcom compared to Konami? I don't see a hashtag, and excuse my language, but I have to tell you what the hashtag is. I don't see a hashtag for fuck Capcom like I see with Konami. And I think there's a reason for it. Mainly, when Konami did all their stuff last year, it seemed to be on the extreme end, and even paranoid. Their company just seems to be in a very low morale, and that's saying something considering how morale is at most AAA companies. Usually you are dealing with a stressful work environment anyways, but Konami seemed to take the cake, spying on people during lunches, or even if you clicked like on a Facebook post that they disagreed with, you would be punished. Now, I went through this last year too, just for you young kids. Your Facebook wall is not private property. It is considered public. If you post something mean about your job, your employer, or the person you work with, you can be fired over it, and there's no legal recourse for you. So Konami didn't break any laws by doing that, but it still was something really crappy to do considering how they're having morale problems at that place. Then, Metal Gear, Solid, and Kojima, and I think that's where a lot of angst is. You look at when Inafune quit, you look at when the people who did the classic Devil May Cry games quit and formed their own companies, you didn't really see any backlash by Capcom. The most insult I heard towards Inafune is that he's a businessman, and unless you're at a Bernie Sanders rally, that's not an insult. And I think it's also very true of Kinji Inafune. He is a businessman. I've looked at some of the games he's produced since leaving Capcom, like Azure Striker Gunvolt, and they're really good. I've seen some of the games he's developed, like Mighty Number 9, and mixed bag to say the least. But I didn't see Capcom trying to get in his way. Konami, on the other hand, insulted Kojima and insulted his fans, and I'm not a fan of Metal Gear either, but they did do a huge insult on him when he won a whole bunch of Games of the Year award, and they wouldn't let him claim it. And this made a whole bunch of money for their company, too. Now, Konami's busy trying to turn this around in their PR, and they're going to fail. Their first attempt is to make a cheap, quickly made Metal Gear game to try to keep those folks still excited. Anyone who knows what's going on can see through this. It's a cheaply made and rushed game. I can see it. This isn't going to help them out. People want to have a real Metal Gear experience, and just making a whole bunch of cheap copies to cheapen the series is going to worsen your problems. So what are my suggestions to Konami? Well, you just dealt with a whole bunch of bad news at once, and that was also the difference between Capcom, as there was a length of time, and then there was also a show of support to their customers and to some of the developers that remained that helped ease the blow. But with Konami, it happened all at once, and then you also had that insult to Kojima. So my thought is if they really want to get some of their audience back, they're going to have to start firing some of these people who made these decisions to treat their employees that way. Some of their heads needs to resign. That's about the only way I think they could really fix it, in my opinion. As far as my opinion on Capcom right now, it's been a few years since all these disasters happened. They're still not one of my favorite game developers. They used to be, they're still not anymore. My thoughts towards them, though, are about the same as it was 5 years ago, though. If they make something I enjoy, I will go out and buy it. I have no animus towards Capcom. But the problem is they rarely do, and they, again, need to do a few things to win back some of their fans, and I think they are. I'm starting to see new things with the Mega Man series. Some of these I don't know if they're good ideas. They're doing a cartoon series that's going to be out sometime next year. I don't know if that's a good idea. And they have released Mega Man games in collections and on the Virtual Console, so they're still trying to keep that series alive. The fan base, I think they offended most, though, and it's the game series I'm going to be doing for Halloween. I started recording on it, and that would be the Devil May Cry series. Since I'm not going to be touching the Castlevania series until Konami cleans up its act, I'll do a Devil May Cry series. And if I can find out what happened to it, because I am missing it, I want to review the DMC game and then sell it. I got it for Christmas. I have played through it once when it was a freebie game on a PlayStation Rewards program. But anyways, the sad thing about DMC, and I want to talk about that too, just in case I don't get to review it. The sad thing about that reboot is that gameplay-wise, that reboot is far superior than the 4 games that were made by Capcom internally. It has better camera angles, it has some really fun platforming, and the action is a lot more top-notch. What brought that game down, and it's the only time where I can point my disapproval at a game so high, is its story. Usually a story, if it's good, will help elevate its good portions and help you forget some of the game's weaknesses because you're enjoying the narrative. If it's a bad story, it may weaken some of the strengths and really highlight the bad things. That's what happened with Zestiria. It had a really good overworld, but its story stinks so much that it kind of became boring to sit through. DMC, on the other hand, problem is this story is repulsive. It not only bashes the original Dante with a new Dante that's not likable in the least, it has way too much cussing and doing it in the attempt to be funny, and it's not. That's the worst time of cussing and swearing, is when someone thinks they're being witty and being funny and you're actually acting like a 10-year-old. And that's the whole story of DMC, and there's a whole bunch of other offensive stuff. I want to be able to play it, review it, and just tell people my opinions about it, because that's the only time I can think of a game actually failing, even though it's a decent game, was because of its narrative, and the narrative that DMC had was offensive. So I want to review that, so that's coming up. As far as Konami, I hope they get their act together, but I think some of their heads of staff, if they really want to get back in good with gamers, are going to have to go. And I don't think we'll be seeing that happen until Konami starts to fall on hard times. They're going to have to go through what Capcom did. Right now, they are making a profit off the pachinko machines and some of their side businesses, but if they're that concerned about wanting to win us gamers back, something tells me they're seeing something on the wall that says that's not going to last. So they're going to have to do what Capcom did, so expect them to be available for buyout before we start seeing some of these major changes happening. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master, thanking you for listening to this audio rant. I will see you guys later.